Greetings. You may have heard the news. The Rocky Mountain FurCon has been unfortunately canceled, and there is a lot of hullabaloo about it. Even the media is coming out. I think there was an article on it from an article on the matter from either BuzzFeed or the Daily Beast, and so as well as local news. There's all kinds of stuff and all kinds of accusations and ad hominems and weird rumors and conspiracy theories flying around. This YouTube video, I hope, clears things up as to what has really gone on with Rocky Mountain FurCon. That's what I intend to do in this YouTube video. I want to start with a lead up to what recently happened. Months ago, months before the convention started, a number of social justice warrior cry-bullies on Twitter were threatening to boycott Rocky Mountain FurCon and do other things to Rocky Mountain FurCon if or unless the board of directors banned a group called the Furry Raiders from attending the convention. I'm not going to go into exactly who the Furry Raiders are, but the reason why is because they had an armband that I guess some people think looks sort of like the armbands used in the Third Reich. There's some resemblance to it. I guess they're probably right about that. So what happened was RMFC banned the armbands specifically, but allowed the Furry Raiders to continue to attend Rocky Mountain FurCon. And, well, since then things have escalated, haven't they? Here is the official statement from the board of directors, and it is as confusing as it is to me as it is everyone else. I'll go ahead and read a couple paragraphs from it. Recently, members of our community have taken it upon themselves to bring in external influences of hate, intolerance, and stubborn refusal to compromise. This movement has grown into a community that promotes violence, and it is because of that, it is with deep regret that I make the following announcement. Okay, so I'll stop right there. To me, it sounds like, or to the layperson, it might sound like he's referring to the Furry Raiders. I don't believe that he is. The Furry Raiders have been more than compliant with the board of directors, so when he says stubborn refusal to compromise, I think he's talking about the cry bullies. Anyway, next paragraph. Last month we were faced with a sudden and drastic increase in security costs amounting to more than a third of our entire existing operating budget. This cost increase stemmed directly from the very public threats of violence against one another by members of this community, as well as the negative backlash from misinformation about the convention, its staff, and its attendees. Therefore, the convention is canceled. I'll no longer continue to subject my staff and our community to lies, hate, violence, and slander that was disseminated by a small, vocal minority. So if you're confused, or if you think that that letter from the board of directors was a reference to the Furry Raiders, let me clear that up. It wasn't. What happened in the lead up to this cancellation over the course of a few weeks is there were increasingly shrill threats being made of violence from social justice warriors on Twitter. And a person unaffiliated with the Raiders responded to one of these people by saying it would be entertaining if someone utilized their right to concealed carry or something of that effect. That person was not affiliated with the Raiders. We don't even know who that person was, but the social justice warrior in question contacted either the police or the hotel about this, or the police subsequently contacted the hotel, and the end result was the hotel demanded much more security than usual from the convention, as well as a police presence. And the costs of doing that made the convention commercially untenable. Here is how I know this. I spoke with a person privy to the matter the night after the convention got canceled. And sure enough, 2 or 3 days later, a board member by the name of Scorch came out on Fur Affinity and gave a very long-winded and tangential account of what happened. I'm not going to read it. The account seems pretty goofy, but the facts in it check out 100% with what I heard from someone else 3 days before Scorch even came out with it. Since then, there have been a number of wild conspiracy theories flying around on Twitter, and those conspiracy theories appear to be led by a person by the name of Chip Fox on Twitter, making up stories that the furry raiders were actually behind the threats to the hotel. These have included discussions with anonymous staff members, of all things. I don't pretend to know how all of these conventions work on the inside, but typically staff members are not even privy to what goes on in the board. So I question those claims. They're from an anonymous source, and the person who is reporting them has, shall we say, a pretty long history of lying and making things up. And he has his own agenda. What they're doing here is they're trying to shift the blame of getting this convention canceled, and they're trying to shift it from the social justice warriors, they themselves, to the furry raiders. If you want a smoking gun as to who got this convention canceled, all you have to do is look at the dozens of self-congratulatory posts on Twitter for getting this convention shut down, many of which seem to have been deleted, but I did have a few. So why is the same group of people now peddling these conspiracy theories? I think they realized what a PR nightmare this has become for them, because a lot of convention goers got hurt, and a lot of artists got hurt by these acts of getting this convention shut down. And as a result, they are now putting out all kinds of unrelated distractions and ruses in addition to these crazy conspiracy theories. And the media is predictably going along with a lot of this bullshit. And the intent of all this bullshit is to distract and confuse normal convention-going furs that aren't really all that political. Here's what I know. I know that the furry raiders are not so-called neo-Nazis. The furry raiders are not on the board of RMFC. This is not the furry raiders' convention. To the best of my knowledge, there aren't even any furry raiders on the staff. The only relationship the furry raiders have to RMFC is that they go there, just like 1,500 others who had their convention taken away from them by these social justice warriors. So if you read a lot of these stupid media reports about what's going on at RMFC, you might be led to believe that there's some huge battle going on for the furry fandom between Nazi furs and social justice warriors. That isn't true. That's not true at all. It's just simply not the case. What's really going on here is that social justice warriors, a loud vocal minority of this fandom, are getting people removed from conventions, and they're getting conventions that don't do what they want shut down. We're not really doing anything on this side. We are not threatening any kind of violence. We're not getting conventions shut down. We're not getting comedians barred from doing their performances. We just want to attend these conventions and other things like everyone else, and like we have been doing for years. This is not a matter of social justice warriors versus Nazi furries. This is a matter of social justice warriors versus literally everybody else in this fandom. And they are taking this fandom away and turning it into a safe space, just like I mentioned a couple weeks ago. And RMFC is, unfortunately, the latest casualty.